couple things. We have an incredible opportunity out here that we get people come out that want to shoot and have a good time. For anyone from someone who's never even handled a gun before to a person who has hunted all their life. So each person has a little different thing. Sometimes it's easier to teach a person who's never fired a gun before without having all those bad habits. But there's a couple of distinct things that's different about a shotgun and rifle or pistol shooting. And probably the biggest thing in my mind is if you shoot a rifle or a pistol, you're aiming at that target, or even a safe gun, or with the rifle, you're aiming and you're closing one eye. Okay, most all of us have a dominant eye, whether it's our right or our left. In fact, you can even have no dominant eye, be right on the center. But for that matter, with a dominant eye, if you're shooting a pistol, you're gonna close one eye. If you're shooting a rifle, again, safe gun, you're gonna do the same. You're gonna aim. You're gonna close one eye. Well, what happens in the shotgunning sports is if you close one eye, you're going to limit yourself, and it's going to be a lot more difficult to be consistent in your shooting. Here's why. Excuse me. With your dominant eye, what its purpose is basically it is focusing in on one object, one set object. Like if you're aiming a gun, it's out there on that set object. What the key is here is your undominant eye that picks up close to, I'm going to say 80% of the information to your brain that's talking about angle, speed, distance, all that stuff. So in shotgunning sports, it's real big that you leave both eyes open. Now, for a shooter, and Jared, we've already talked a little bit that you're used to closing one eye. We're gonna see kind of how this works out today. But if you're used to only shoot with one eye, it's going to take a transition. It's going to take some time to get used to where you can open both eyes. But in this game, in any of your clay target sports, it's all about the clay. If you ever happen to catch yourself looking down your gun, even though both eyes are open or whatever, but actually physically seeing your barrel, you're doing it wrong, guys. you're doing it wrong. This game is all about the clay. When that clay comes out of that trap, there's going to be a part or a point there to where that clay becomes where it's not so blurry, where you can actually focus on that clay. And then I'm going to turn a little bit to see if this makes sense. But as that clay comes out of the machine, there's going to be a point where it comes clear to focus on. And then that clay is going to rise, and there's going to be a point to where it seems to be a good spot to make that shot or hit that clay. So in between the two, in between where that clay becomes focal or where you can see it clear, and the spot where you're going to break that clay, you would have what we call your hold point. And it's somewhere, depending on the shots, in between the two. So a good rule of thumb is to have that gun in the angle of that shot you're going to take already. Have it in that position somewhere between where you're going to break it and where that clay becomes clear. Now, when you call pull and that clay comes out of the thrower, it's a simple move to shoot that clay. Simple move to get in there and shoot that clay. Now, one other thing I want to point out right quick. A lot of things that I see with specifically somebody who's never fired a gun before, and even someone who's maybe fired a rifle quite a bit, there's different stances. A classic rifle shot is for your body to be sideways and you're aiming that gun. Well, in shotgunning sports, especially in sporting clays, these clays could be coming from any direction. They could be coming left to right, over your head, popping up, whatever. So you got all kinds of area that you're dealing with. In the clay shooting sports, I'm not going to make a claim that it's better to be a gun-down shooter or a gun-up shooter. I do have my own opinion on that. But you want to be able to be a little bit mobile. If you're pre-mounted on your gun, well, folks, the only place that your gun can go is the same place your nose is, the same place your eyes is. So if that clay is moving and you're already pre-mounted, well, that's a lot of gun movement to be able to follow that clay. Okay? A step back from that would be to go ahead and pre-mount, but maybe raise your head off the gun before you make that shot. This gives you the mobility to move your head around to be able to catch that clay from wherever it's coming and still have time to get your cheek down into the gun and get on that clay. The next step, the type of discipline that I shoot or that I enjoy shooting is gun down. Same theory though, your gun's down, but you've got all kinds of mobility to be able to pick that clay up from wherever it's coming to and make that adjustment before you take the shot. Now another big thing that's different about rifle shooting stance and sporting clay stance is this is more of kind of a contact sport is how I like to say it. It is a sport. In fact, in most all sports that I know of, there's always follow-through. In basketball, if you make a shot, you're following through. In golf, when you take that golf swing, you're following through that shot. It's the same, and in fact more important, in shotgunning. In shotgunning, we have what's called lead. If you're shooting a crosser that's really getting out there and going pretty fast, if you were to raise up and take that shot, bang, and stop your gun, well, I bet 90% of the time you're going to miss that shot. there's follow through in this sport as well. So as you take that shot, that crossing shot, as you raise up to that shot, should be bang and a follow through with your gun. That'd improve your shotgunning greatly. But to get back to more some of the basics, one of the biggest things I see that was people starting out and people that could improve on is to get more of a shotgunning stance and get into your gun. In other words, what I see a lot of people starting out do, they'll mount that gun, but they'll be kind of a solid position and be back here on their gun. When I say get into the gun, it's all about cheek. It's all about getting that cheek up there on that stock. What I mean by getting into the gun is this. Get into that. Get into that shot. And I tell you what, if you work on just a few of those little minor things, focus on the clay. It's all about the clay. Don't look at your barrel. Focus hard on the clay. You may think that you're focusing on the clay, but I guarantee you're not focusing enough. Just focus on the clay. Never, ever, ever let your gun barrel get behind that clay as it's making its move. Always keep your barrel in front of it. Focus on the clay. Get into your gun. Use some follow through, and your shotgunning will improve greatly. I tell you what, we have a ball down here at Western Wings. In fact, one of the things I enjoy most is taking that first timer or even someone who's just wanting to improve their game a little bit and see if I can help them a little bit. I sure don't know it all by any means, but I enjoy helping, trying to improve their game. And this sport, I tell you what, it doesn't matter if you're young, old, male, female. This is a sport that you can enjoy all your life, and that's what makes it so fun. I mean, we get, in fact, our leagues are going on right now. Jared, our winter league, we've got close to over 80 people that are having fun week after week in our winter league. But I tell you what, it's varied. We have teams that have come in here that's a family, a husband and wife and their kids, all of them shooting. We have a bunch of firemen out of Idaho Falls that's made up their team. We have some business party, all kinds of things. It's varied. I mean, anybody can enjoy this sport, and you can enjoy it all your life. So I really encourage you, if you haven't come into Western Wings and see what we're about, please do so. Come in, just take a tour. Let's give you a tour. Have some fun. This sport, again, is a sport you can enjoy all your life. I tell you what, it's phenomenal. It's instant gratification every time you bust those clays, and it's rewarding. I mean, it's a bunch of good people in this sport, and it makes it all the fun in the world.